Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
My name is Adra Ganesh Hajo, and I am the Assistant Director of Membership at the Nigerian-British Chamber of Commerce. I'm pleased to welcome you all to this May edition of the NBCC Expert in Residence Program. And this month's event is themed AI-enabled opportunities and transformation for SMEs. We have realized the importance and the opportunities for AI for MSMEs, and that's why we have come up with this theme. And I'm particularly delighted to see our ESCO members, our distinguished experts, our speaker, and all esteemed guests. Please let us observe the national anthems of Nigeria and Britain as it plays right away. So before we begin and go to the So before we begin, I'll get into the other section. Please allow me to state some housekeeping guidelines. So if your volume is too low, kindly check your system volume. And the webinar is being recorded and will be available on our YouTube channel at Nigerian-British Chamber of Commerce, NBCC. So to comment and have discussions, please use the chat icon, and we would encourage you to be free to engage and network in the chat room by dropping your name and location and what you do to spur up the engagement while the conversation is going on. So your questions will be answered during the Q&A session. So please put in your questions at the Q&A icon and it will be answered as the session starts. Thank you for listening to these guidelines, and please join me as I welcome Mr. Segun Akintemi as he takes the welcome address on behalf of our President and Chairman of Council, Mrs. BC Adeyemi. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ejiro, and good morning, Madam President. On behalf of the President and the Chairman of the Council, past presidents, patrons, council members, members of the Nigerian-British Chamber of Commerce, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Segun Akintemi, and I am the Vice Chairman of the Advocacy Committee. It is indeed my pleasure to have you all here today, and an honor to deliver this welcome address. On behalf of the President and Chairman of Council, I welcome you to the May MSME Expert in Residence Program, which is themed AI-enabled opportunities and transformation for the SMEs. Firstly, I would like to introduce the Nigerian-British Chamber of Commerce, which is the foremost bilateral chamber in Nigeria and was established in 1977 to promote trade and investment between Nigeria and Britain. The chamber currently has over 400 members, diverse sectors of the economy, and we are an international affiliate of the British Chamber of Commerce, which gives us access to a network of 53 chambers of commerce across the UK and 71 other international affiliates around the world. The NBCC Expert in Residence program is one of the chamber's CSR initiatives that gives businesses access to seasoned experts who prefer solutions to the following areas, but not limited to: one, business finance, branding, corporate governance, and of course, human resources, which has become a topical issue today with, of course, the JAPA syndrome. In today's rapidly evolving technology landscape, artificial intelligence, AI as it's known, has emerged as a catalyst for transformative change. Its profound impact on various sectors is reshaping industries, revolutionizing business processes, and defining the way we live and work. AI, while AI is often associated with large corporations, it is imperative to recognize that SMEs too have a very, very crucial and critical role to play in this new paradigm shift. Medium-sized enterprises are the backbone of the economies worldwide. They are very agile, extremely innovative, and they possess the ability to adapt very quickly to changing circumstances. Now, AI offers the SMEs the ability to leverage data-driven insights and automate their processes, leading to improved operational efficiency and, of course, cost effectiveness. And it also enhances decision-making capabilities, enabling SMEs to make more informed choices, identify market trends, and more importantly, anticipate customer needs. AI-driven technologies such as machine learning and natural language processing can be harnessed to develop personalized customer experiences, optimize supply chains, and streamline operations, and thereby driving growth and competitiveness. Today, AI is not just a luxury, but a necessity for SMEs to thrive in a very fast, increasingly digital world. This May edition of the Expert in Residence program serves as a platform for knowledge sharing, collaboration, inspiration, and we have gathered some of the brightest minds, thought leaders, and industry experts who would share their insights and, more importantly, their success stories in utilizing AI to unlock the full potentials of SMEs. Through an engaging keynote speech and interactive breakout sessions, we aim to equip each one of you with actionable strategies and tools that would harness the transformative power of AI. As we embark on this incredible journey together, I encourage you to embrace the opportunities that lie ahead. I must extend my heartfelt gratitude to our speaker, our experts, the sponsor, MSME committee, and the HQ of the Chamber. Your dedication and commitment to advancing AI opportunities for SMEs are truly commendable. Once again, I welcome you all to this extraordinary gathering. May the next few days be filled with enlightening discussions, valuable insights, and of course, very, very fruitful deliberations and collaborations in terms of opportunities for us all. Let us seize the AI opportunities before us and pave the way for future for our SMEs. Thank you very much for listening, and do have a great session.
Thank you very much, Mr. Shegun Akintemi, for that warm welcome and for delivering the welcome address. So once again, good morning, everyone. And my name is Roslyn Onolaja. I'm the Vice Chair of the MSME Committee at the Chamber. So, and I want to welcome each and every one of us, and once again, welcome our keynote speaker and our esteemed experts to this edition of the Expert in Residence program, a program that we look forward to again gain knowledge and learn, network, and collaborate. So we'll go right into it, and I will be introducing our keynote speaker, Mrs. Teniola Stoffman. And I'll just go ahead to read a brief profile of her. Mrs. Teniola Stoffman is a serial entrepreneur and a fintech expert. She currently is the founding partner and managing director of Future Pro Digital and an executive director of business development at Vast2Net Technologies Limited, with a demonstrated history of working in the telecommunications industry in Nigeria, Ghana, Cameroon, and other countries. Tenny has over 17 years experience and has in-depth knowledge of convergent communications technology. She has built several VS projects and fintech implementations in Nigeria and abroad, including mobile banking services, mobile health, which was recognized by GSMA in March 2015 at the Mobile World Congress in Barcelona, and M-Agri recognized by MEF at 2018 Mobile World Congress. Tenny is currently taking certifications on ESG with CFI Institute. She's an alumnus of Walden University, Lagos Business School, MIT Management Executive in Digital Transformation, Todd University FinTech School, Anglia Ruskin University, that's the Lord Ashworth Business School, London Telecoms and Mobile Academy, Federal University of Technology, Akure, and Adeola Odutola College, Ogun State. She's a member of WIMBIS, the Institute of Directors of Nigeria, Nigerian-American Chambers Committee, Nigerian-British Chambers Committee, a member of Society of the Industrial and Organizational Psychologists, and Global Organization for Humanitarian Work Psychology. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me as I welcome Tenny Stoffman, our keynote speaker for today. You're welcome, Tenny.
Thank you very much for having me this morning. Again, thank you very much and good morning. It's lovely to be here to share my thoughts on how artificial intelligence can be leveraged upon by SMEs and MSMEs. So first, I would like to say a big thank you to the President and Chairman of NBCC, Mrs. Bisi Adeyemi, and also to the organizers of this event, to Mrs. Roslyn Onolaja as well, and the team. I have a presentation, so I'm hoping that it can go on while I'm having this discussion. Yeah, thank you very much. So first of all, I would like to buttress on the importance of how artificial intelligence started. So artificial intelligence has been in existence since the 1950s or even beyond. So it's not new and it has only advanced. It's the ultimate version of artificial intelligence that we are currently experiencing. That is why it's like it's becoming a norm for us. If we look at the first time computer was launched, and those days of diskettes, and then generated from diskettes to CDs, and then we started having flash drives, and then servers, and then we graduated from having server to rack space, and now we are putting data in the cloud. So these machines have grown from those age till now a wealth of accumulated information is being gathered from time to time. You find out that if you Google any subject on Google, you just find responses here and there. So it's been there for a while, and data is key to understanding artificial intelligence. There is deep learning or machine learning, which are subsets to artificial intelligence. And once you're Android or iOS aware, which is what we are seeing now, science becomes real. For instance, you can talk to your phones, you can link your wristwatches to your phones. We have cars that can drive without a driver now. We have IoT, that's Internet of Things, centered around homes and several other things. So again, it's been in existence for a while. It's just that data has accumulated to a point where that data is intelligent enough to do a lot of things that we want it to do for us now. So from research to return on investment is where we are right now. Over the past 10 years, that's my next slide, please. Over the past 10 years, the center of power in artificial intelligence has shifted from academic institutions to subsidiaries of some of the world's biggest tech companies. And then the question is, what are these individuals that are making decisions that keeps influencing our lifestyles? I remember a video that I saw recently about a man that went into an Amazon mart in London. And then upon entering the mart, he was greeted and his name was mentioned, and he just entered, picked everything he needed to pick and left the mart. And then his phone was, of course, his account was the information on his phone. Now this has, this process looks simple, looks easy for anyone to relate with, but a lot of data has happened in the process. His face was captured. He must be a customer of Amazon for them to have his data, and he was able to enter, do all of the things he needed to buy from that store, and leaving the store, he was debited because of, again, his account was also integrated on the Amazon platform. Why is all of this relevant? It makes life easy. It makes it easy for anybody to walk in, but then it also reduces thefts. Any other person that does not have that form of relationship with Amazon Mart will not be able to enter. And these are things that businesses like even Walmart and the rest of them are beginning to consider as part of their business. And how did this happen? It started with a research. Taking on the leaders in this research were the companies like OpenAI, Alphabet, Google, Meta Platforms, Microsoft. They are setting the standard of how technology will be used by millions of people. And we call it open science. And because it's open, it allows transparency. It makes it easy for even technology experts to leverage. So we are all we're all driven by curiosity, and there are many dimensions of research. So for me, the ability to measure impact of artificial intelligence is best seen within the SMEs and MSMEs, because you're able to leverage on a lot of business to business and opportunities that may come therein. So another concern that I believe people have is, can this be the end of business for us, or can this be the end of, machines taking the world? Unfortunately, all these data are already out anyway, so there's nothing we can do about it. So the machines have all the necessary data. As long as you have your phone, as long as you use the web, all your data are currently being accumulated. Then the question is, how well are they being used? So today we'll focus on business, because that's why we are here. So artificial intelligence becomes most useful when you don't see it, when it becomes a lifestyle and you are less conscious of it. You can imagine having your phone with you and checking your blood pressure with your phone. You don't even recognize the impacts behind, you don't know what's going on, but you're comfortable because it's serving a purpose. So it becomes very useful when you don't really realize it. In addition, the artificial intelligence software can also perform some mundane tasks like scheduling business meetings, answering common customer requests, and many more. So moreover, applications of artificial intelligence in business extend beyond convenience. The artificial intelligence apps can dynamically fine-tune marketing campaigns that enhance signal for the audience and can evaluate customer buying behavior. There's so much you can do with it. So business leaders today have realized that the benefits of artificial intelligence today are undeniable and will continue to prove itself as a powerful investment for the future. With some businesses like Walmart that invested over 300 million in 2019 to buy a technology company because they wanted to enhance their innovation in that area. Amazon as well. Amazon has a fantastic platform that I think every business should leverage on. Wendy's recently, just last week, Wendy's is also tilting towards the experience kind of provision for their customers, where they can suggest to you based on your appetite pattern, and then you go into store, you pick it up, you don't need to pay because you're already being debited from your wallet or from your account. So they expect that return on investment of these kind of technologies will eventually double by 5 years, and some of them even believe it will triple in 10 years. However, I must mention this, that to maximize its potential, to maximize artificial intelligence potential, business SMEs must realize and they must reimagine how artificial intelligence will exist in their enterprise. It is not a copy and paste matter. It has the capacity to disrupt all areas of business, no doubt, from manufacturing to logistics to service and many more. Adopting a clear agile strategy will help decision makers realize their artificial intelligence potential by delivering new insights, creating efficiencies, and innovating faster than competitors. So companies will overcome these barriers with more level of awareness and an enterprise-wide strategy for artificial intelligence implementation and use. Today, artificial intelligence strategy is typically under the scope of chief technology officer or a chief information officer for the big companies. But what we are seeing now is that even small businesses are beginning to hire artificial intelligence specialists or partner with businesses so they can create solutions that will drive opportunities to their business. So again, it's a friend and not just a foe. But the path of caution is also to be considered when leveraging on it. That's why I mentioned on agility. You should consider the nature of your business before taking on any solution to help drive your business. So now I will like to talk about the opportunities that able to provide for today. And of course, it will keep birthing more opportunities. Like I mentioned, the data has been warehoused for ages. So it's intelligent enough to know what it is for today. I'm sure by tomorrow we may start seeing cars flying and all sorts happening in that sense. So for today, there are some opportunities that I believe that SMEs can leverage. Most current applications, are generally limited to solving specific problems in specific domains, like targeting your precise customer, like profiling that customer, or doing voice or text or picture recognition, or so many more, right? Through some form of machine learning. This machine have been able to learn how customers' behavior has been generating traffic for a long time. So they are wise enough to help aid that kind of thing, where a machine learns through complex learning algorithms, analyzing massive amounts of data through correlation or classifications or so many other areas. I have an example of a lady and her husband that went to a car dealer store to purchase a car, to return a car. And by the time they got there, the salesman, went straight to meet the man, and he was just so refreshing. He mentioned, "Oh, good morning, sir. I hear you are the president of the Autism Foundation. I must commend you. You're doing a fantastic job. My first son is also, is an autism person, and I just want to say I relate with what you're doing. I really appreciate you," and all of that. By the time he finished talking, the man was elated. He didn't even mention anything that he came there to do any longer. He ended up buying a truck. He was going to return a car, but he ended up buying another truck, making two things that he purchased from that company. Why? This salesperson had gotten enough information from this of this client, of this customer. And at a point where the customer came, all the information that he has been able to gather, he was able to use it. It's not because he doesn't know how to sell cars. He's a sales expert, so he knows better, right? But he was able to use that intelligence to have his sales speech appropriately, and it was used at the right time. So again, data is the bedrock of artificial intelligence. And for SMEs, artificial intelligence is well advanced to aid your business. And I believe that these are the things that we need to start focusing on now. Quickly, I'll run us through some some essentials. The most significant benefit of artificial intelligence for SMEs is a marketing automation system that machine learning to enhance customer targeting, construct communications that are more precise, and build conclusions as per customer behavior. This form of targeted marketing stimulates efficiency by driving the efforts, particularly towards the right clients, right? Therefore, it's a direct marketing that powers a database marketing technique with the AI-based models and concepts. Now, AI powered various channels. I'm hearing echo. I hope you can still hear me. I hope you can still hear me.
Yes.
Hello?
Yes, we can. We can hear you.
Yes, we can.
Great,
Yes, we can.
Okay, great. So AI-powered various channels, like Facebook, Google AdWords, Binge, which are consistently fine-tuned for this purpose. So furthermore, it automates and tracks, and it can also help you with marketing spending. If you leverage on platforms like this to, target your customers, you have information about your customers, and they also give you how much you're spending. So you're able to spend wisely in that sense. So it can minimize, tracking campaigns, because you can trust this platform to give you
It appears we've lost her. Is it from my end?
No, I can't hear her too.
Oh, hello. Can you hear me now?
Okay,
you're
yes, you're
back
back.
on
We
now.
lost you for a bit.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Okay, so let me just emphasize on what I said. I said AI-powered various channels, channels like Facebook, like Google AdWords, like Binge. These are channels like Amazon, I mentioned earlier. They are consistently fine-tuned for this purpose. So I believe SMEs that are not registered on this platform should consider it. Again, consider your business before you do that, right? And then it also helps with your dovetailing into how you should spend for marketing, because you know your target market. Another thing that it does, it also helps with sales. So it can teach on sales. Now, today is about ChatGPT-4, right? It keeps advancing, and you can learn so much from such platforms. So AI technologies can coach the salespersons to sell better, because there are records of information that can be leveraged on. These tools record and transcribe, and they help you to see how your competitors are also doing. And another platform another benefit that I think it does is also in customer engagement. Now, I will dwell more on this, because there are several solutions that I believe you can also pick on them. So automated chat platform permits the SMEs to scale the customer engagement and experience and free up resources needed for more critical customer interactions. So it drives greater customer engagement, increases the chance to achieve more revenue, and increases retention. There's software that supports and understands customer needs and determines the pattern to which you should increase your range of services. The next slide, please. I have an example that I put in the next slide, which is in case of RCS. It's called Rich Communication Service. You see, this is a network provider in Nigeria. For maybe anyone that is not in Nigeria, this is a network provider in Nigeria. In 2020, they had a call for action. They had a purpose, rather. The purpose was to improve customer satisfaction rates by deploying a care bot that will automate common customer service operations. Again, remember agility. Before you dabble into any form of artificial intelligence product or services, consider what you want to use it for, so that you can get fit for purpose solution, right? So this was what they wanted to do. So they used RCS, which is an interactive platform. And then they were able to, get a track of over about, I think, 80% traction, as against if they had sent SMS. The next slide, place, if they had sent SMSs, you will not be able to find out whether the customer saw the message or not and all that. But with this, they were able to see traction with the customers. And again, these are interesting call for action kind of services that brands are also leveraging. It's called Rich Communication Service. There's another one that is Rich Business Messaging Service, right? Which is also targeted at businesses. So the next slide, please. I just wanted to show how it can be. So you can imagine in this case, this customer is trying to sell to their customers and they wanted it to be interactive enough. So you can click on this. Once you click on it, it helps you just automatically purchase. You would not need to have the static or maybe basic information that you then have to be calling to say, oh, can I order for this? Can I order for that? So again, it just shows that, and this was as early as 2020. These are reports that are old for use. They were used as use cases to launch RCS in 2020. So again, these are services that I think and I believe that once considered by SMEs, it will help them to critically target the specific client or customer. So another thing that I believe it all does, that's AI, is to support competitive intelligence. By the time you have access to certain platforms, it could be difficult to track strategies of your competitors, right? So, but knowing the competitors well is also vital, and it's to help you react to the ever-changing market trends, and it will also help you remain competitive. So there are AI-powered competitive analysis tools that support businesses in this area. These softwares, they can track the business competitors on various channels. They can help you track your competitors on different social media, on websites, on web applications, and they can help you also determine the price updates from your competitors. So that way, you can then, decide whether you want to go into a price war competition or you want to go into a service competition or even for PR activities. Yeah. So lastly, the other thing that I want to mention is AI also strengthens cybersecurity. And I'm sure by the time we go into the rooms, there'll be, mentions on this as well. A lot of phishing is going on now, a lot of viral, infections on businesses, stealing of data and all of that. So again, it is important to ensure that when you're making any purchase, you want to pay for it. You don't go for all the freemiums because they are not as free as we think. So you want to make sure that your terms and conditions, you read it clearly before you buy those solutions to aid your services. So when you buy authentic solutions, they help you maintain cybersecurity. They cyberproof your business for you, and you have less access to stealing of data or even phishing. Yeah. So there are still many ways companies can use AI to help, customers. But in the meantime, I will stop with these ones. And the reason is because, again, AI keeps growing. This is our new norm. It's our new reality. So it will keep increasing. For instance, Google is focusing on helping users accomplish a task that are clunky. So the current version of that search engine, if you press on Google right now, you will see basic information, but they are creating something they call generative AI, right? And the aim is to sort of, it's like the next evolution, right? It's meant to help you with your supercharged search. By the time you're searching and you're getting precise information. Although there are limits to this, I must confess, right? But for sensitive queries, for instance, Google has insisted that they will be very, very prudent with those informations. And generative AI will not be used to engage certain areas like maybe health and finances. They will come with disclaimer and responses. But why am I saying this? I'm saying this because technology is not sleeping. It keeps growing. Should not sleep as well. The Gen Zs of this world are looking forward to change, and their demand keeps increasing as the demand, the machine is also demanding for innovation. So as we grow, we should also learn to impute, these disruptive solutions into our businesses. Next slide, please. Right, so I mentioned what Google is doing recently. Another thing I want to emphasize on, I think I mentioned about Wendy's as well. Wendy's is a fast food business, right? So if you're into fast food, you may want to start considering how best to do the business better than current, sending through maybe WhatsApp or sending through any other channel. So you want to leverage on what is in the future, because trust me, the demand from the Gen Zs will make you change in that. In fact, even in employment, it is, we are seeing research is telling us now that people don't want to work in an environment that is not tech savvy any longer. So again, if you want to keep and retain customers, you retain employees, you will need to then help in building the platform that will allow them to feel the curiosity that it's in the blood for them to be able to leverage, right? So these are examples, like I mentioned, like Make My Trip Limited is a logistic company and they handle traveling. So they were able to use this, generative AI that Google is launching, right? We have ChatGPT. I'm sure a lot of people have heard about, and we are using ChatGPT as well, Amazon as well, and several others. Yeah, so it keeps growing, and it's something that we should grow with. We shouldn't just leave it behind. We should not be too scared to test what the intelligence of machine is bringing to us. It's not taking our job, rather it's allowing us to push more in innovation. Right, so next slide, please. And I think this will be my last slide, which is just for me to round off that as technology moves forward, I've said it, we should be vigilant to ensure that the benefit of artificial intelligence, we should always realize that the benefit of it outweighs the harm that it can do to us. Again, remember, you cannot run away from it, unfortunately, because all your data has been on the platform. It's been in the cloud for a while now. So if I Google whoever, I should find you. So we can't run away from it. We have to embrace it now and see how best we can use it. And that is it from me. Thank you very much. I'll take questions now.
Wow. Thank you so very much, Teniola. Thank you for that very insightful presentation on AI. And I want to believe that our SMEs present here, they have learned one thing, one or two things from here. When we think about, when we hear AI, it sounds very grandeur, very distant, something that is so unreachable. But your presentation this morning has really brought it home, broken it down and brought it home. And you've told us here that as SMEs, we can't even run away from it. That is actually even useful to us. So it's not only for the big businesses, but it's also relevant for our business and for the growth of our businesses. And of course, you highlighted the different ways that we can deploy AI in our businesses. And the fact that the point that you made at the beginning that AI has been in existence for a while was like really, because again, we think because the awareness is everywhere and we're just hearing about it, we think AI is something new. So it's very interesting that is actually been in existence for a while. And all the data that we put out there, everything that we do, and we just do it and they are there and we just think they are there, but they're actually there for a purpose. And now all of that is now being harnessed to be used for what it is today. So thank you very much. And I want to believe that our SMEs will have, our participants here will have questions. But to start it off, I'd like to ask a few questions. Like I said, I have, me for instance, I have always thought that AI, when I hear AI, I just think it's for the big businesses. But now I am being told that it's not just for big businesses, or even SMEs can also begin to deploy AI. So I want to ask, how big should a business be before you begin to think of AI for the business? And what is the place of cost, in deploying AI, considering that our participants here are SMEs?
Yeah, thank you very much for the question, ma'am. So again, business B. You can start your business today and start deploying AI today. It's as simple as that. Why? Because already so you want to do broadcast messaging, you want to send SMS. A little bit of it is also some form of intelligence, right? It's just that it's the barest minimum form of intelligence. Then you ask yourself, can I advance it better? Can I go on Facebook? Can I buy click to action kind of services to be able to let people, buy my stuff and all of that? If you're able to do that, and they are very affordable, they are very cheap. If you're able to buy all those clicks, all those, stuff, and you understand why you are buying it. So again, emphasis on understanding why it is needed for your business, because it may be because others are doing it, which will not help, right? So if you understand why you need these solutions, they are all out there. I believe, first of all, every business should leverage on all the social media platforms, especially because of scaling and knowing who your customers are. Remember, these platforms have all the data that you can leverage. They know what somebody else is eating. You know how people post pictures these days. They know what you're eating. They know what you're wearing. So they can actually use that to justify, oh, she does not like to wear trousers. She likes to wear skirts more. So for those people that are sewing skirts, they can push those kind of data to you. And then you can then buy them, which are, and then target your customers in that way. So again, it's available. And every business starting from scratch should leverage on it. So it's not for big players only. In fact, big players are spending a lot of money on research right now, and they are beginning to turn their research into return on investment, right? So the small players like us should also leverage on what they've learned and just help them scale it.
Wow, thank you. Fantastic. Thank you so much. Yes, Adedayo says here, finally, AI has been demystified for me. Absolutely. Absolutely. So we have a few questions here. Let me just take questions from some of our participants before I ask my other questions. So Mfon Epenyong is asking, for brand visibility, are there apps you could suggest?
Okay. I will not like to suggest. Why? Because again, you want to be able to know your business first before you make any purchase. But they are all out there. My suggestion would be go on Google. If you have Android phones, go on Google app, go on iOS App Store as well. Put in there that you need this, and then check them properly, because you don't want to waste money. So check what they do. Check customers' response as to user experience. How are they rated? Sometimes they internally and you will not know. So you also want to know how they are rated and comments that they are, that their customers are given before you purchase those apps. First, before even, purchasing apps, why don't you leverage on the ones that are free? Why don't you go on the Google, ads and all the ones that are, that you can trust, not just anyone that is free. The ones you can trust, like Google, like Amazon, like Facebook, like Binge. Why don't you go on those platforms to at least start? And then from there, you'll see recommendations. And again, pay for it. If you're buying any app for your business, especially, even if it is $20, pay. Do not say, oh, because it comes free, let me just take it. These are methods of taking data, right? So they'll keep, building their own intelligence based on the data that you're feeding them. I hope I'm able to answer that. Yeah.
I believe so. Thank you so much. So another question here by Asebo Bomeye. So he's asking, what is the adoption rate of AI in large companies in Nigeria? That's one. And his second question is, what are the barriers for SMEs in Nigeria?
Okay. I think right now the adoption is increasing. I will say of 70%. And why so? 5G. 5G also enhances AI. So since the existence of 5G and also allowance of the network operators to leverage on business of payment, that has disrupted how business is being done in the country. You will see that even the banking industries are beginning to have their fintech arm as well. So fintech keeps growing, and as fintech grows, so people used to think disruption is for money. No, disruption is to dismantle and see how best you can gather it again together, right? So people are willing to put money to disrupt. And Nigeria seems to be a very good use case for that. We have the population, we have the zeal. Our customers are very hungry. So it's growing as the same rate as we see in India. It's just that because 5G is just new to us, the appetite is still a bit subtle. But before 2 years, 3 years down the line, we will not even be talking about what's the rate. It will be probably at par with what is going on in India.
Okay.
And then the second question, which is the barriers for SMEs. I think the first barrier is the fear of, am I meeting the right target? Is it me, or is this a solution for me? Because look, a lot of solutions are in your face every day. So I think that's the first barrier, the fear of, if I pay for it, will it serve the purpose? So again, you want to be very sure of whatever solution you are adopting for your business. You want to do your research because it's your business, right? It's very important. This business is very important to you. So it will not take you any problem to spend 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, checking precisely how solutions can be of benefit to you, and then ask all the necessary questions. Once you ask the questions and you are hearing anything that makes you feel doubt, you shouldn't go for it, right? And then again, another fear is, no, but who else is using it? If this person is using it, maybe I should use it. If it doesn't, if it has nothing to do with your business, then it's useless for you. You're just wasting money. So I feel the first thing is fear, which needs to be allayed. You need to let the fear go and try on new waters. Whether we like it or not, it's happening.
All right, thank you so much for that. So we have a few more questions here. So Mfone Ekwenyong is asking, RCS and RBS, what is the difference?
Okay, good. RCS is Rich Communication Service, and then RBM is Rich Business Messaging. So RBM is like the body of all the business messaging platforms, including RCS. So you have chatbots on RBM. You have all those bots that you see, today is Ziza, this one, and all of those things. So they all fall under the category of rich business messaging services. They are rich because it's interactive. That's why they are richer than the normal, SMS. And RCS allows, so if you use iOS and you send message, you see that it's blue. If you send message to another iOS person, and then you will see that it's showing that the person is typing, or the person is sending you message back. Those are RCS, kind of services, because it's interactive. It's a two-way kind of messaging service, an advanced version of bulk messaging, the general normal message that you don't know whether the person read it or the person did not read it. The receiver has the right to read or not. But when you see an action being taken by the receiver, then it's becoming RCS. That's Rich Communication Service. I think that's the future. It's happening already for us in Nigeria. I gave an instance of the 9Mobile, for instance. It's our future now, and it's happening.
Okay, so we just take 2 more questions and then we'll round up this session. So Jack is asking, how can we identify the most demanded products and services in Nigeria?
How can we what? Sorry.
How can we identify the most demanded products and services in Nigeria?
How can we identify the most demanded products and services?
Products and services in Nigeria.
So, that seems to be like a personal question. So I will really say, you go on, you get the logs. So if you demand from Google, for instance, if you're into a business and you demand from Google to give you logs of the best sales of, lack of a better word, maybe Indomie, because you want to produce your own kind of Indomie, you can pay for that, right? And then the Google Dynamics can give you how many purchases has happened within a period, and then you can then use that to justify whether you want to go into that business or not, because this particular product is already taking the market share, right? So those are methods of leveraging, but it's something that you have to personally, take on, because you need to have the product you want to search before you can place a demand on it. I hope I answered your question.
Okay.
Right.
All right. So, okay. So we'll take this last question. This says the efficiency or utility of AI is based on data availability. Do you think we have enough Nigerian data on areas like transportation, supply chain, power, agriculture, etc., that can enable one utilize AI to enhance a Nigerian company's efficiency in those areas?
So in logistics, I think we do. I think so because, again, the logistic companies have been using SIM toolkits for a while now for tracking, right? So that's information warehouse somewhere. It's also can be leveraged on. For agriculture, I think we also do. You can see that there are instances where we have drones on fields rendering services now. So I think we do, but is it big enough? Not yet. That is the reason why, people like yourselves, once you start it, it keeps adding the data for intelligence gathering, and then eventually it can then birth newer products. But for now, yes, we have a bit of it. There are SIMs integrated in certain transportation means or channels, like tractors. They have SIMs that you can use to track. Buses also, some buses have SIMs for location and tracking as well. So it's not enough yet. Nigeria is still behind in that sense, but we are getting there. And it's businesses like yourselves that will aid us to get there.
All right. Thank you so much, Teniola. Thank you. Sorry, the very last question, my own question now. So how can AI help SMEs forecast future trends and make predictions based on past data?
Yes. So again, it helps with customer behavior. That is why it can help you to forecast trends, future trends easily, because already this data has been gathered, and it's been, of course, it may not be 100% correct, but at least some intelligence will come out of it. I'll give you an instance. I mentioned if I'm into fashion, for instance, and rather I use different platforms. I use Gmail, Hotmail, and all of that, and all my mails and everything, it's being warehoused on that Google platform, right? Because Gmail belongs to Microsoft. And so in that sense, Microsoft has a lot of my information. Now, if anyone needs, if I need to be profiled for maybe high-end targets, and maybe because I like certain things, because those informations are there, I will be part of the people that Microsoft will push to the person demanding for that data. So it's very common now. It's not new. It's very common now that businesses are then leveraging to buy off, actions like that to scale their business. It's just that maybe we're not hearing it enough, but a lot of places, especially on social media, Facebook has Meta Business, right? On Meta Business, for instance, one can leverage on that opportunity to do business. Yeah.
Thank you so very much. Thank you, Teniola. As you were taking my question, a question came in. So please, I'd like you to speak to this, and then we'll end. So James is asking, where is the place of AI in the maritime industry?
I love this question so much because it will help a great deal in maritime industry. You can imagine having offline and online communication system maritime, right? And I think that's, if it's not being done, I'll be surprised, right? So you can have online and offline, and the scheduling and the platform for scheduling. So you have ordinarily one could say, oh, if I want to put documentation in place, I'm going to be using what's it called, Google Doc and all of that. But there are some intelligent platforms right now that can aid scheduling, from offloading to unloading to offline when you are in the sea, when there is no connection. There are some intelligence platforms that can help you track, and even when there are attacks and thereabouts, So there are intelligence platforms like that if I'm aware of. I've seen some. I was opportune to see one last year in the UK for a logistic company that was trying to create convey people from UK to France, right? So there are instances like that that are coming up now. And I believe that if our logistics company or even our maritime industry in Nigeria can be open to disruption, then all these changes, because it also helps with authenticity of your data, of your recordings, of the business itself, right? So a lot of times transparency. So, I mentioned earlier on that data enables open science, and open science births transparency. So all this does is to enable transparency even within the maritime sector. So yes, it's possible.
All right, thank you so very much, Tenny. Thank you for the very insightful presentation, and for all the knowledge that we have gained. I've particularly gained a lot, and I can relate better when AI is the topic or subject matter, the AI is being discussed. Thank you for showing us how we can deploy this in our businesses as SMEs and the benefits that our businesses stand to gain. Thank you so very much. Arisha, I think we're out of time on this presentation. So thank you very much. So please just join me once again to say thank you to Tenny Stoffman for being with us this morning and for sharing this very important topic with us. Thank you. All right, so we'll continue, and at this point, we'd like to take the sponsors video. Take the sponsors video, after which we go into a breakout session. HQ.
Welcome to Vastinet's Technologies, your preferred mobile and digital technology solution provider out of Africa, with an ecosystem that improves all businesses globally. Our mission is to deliver an integrated, value-driven proposition that combines digital services, content, and digital payments seamlessly to customers. Connected to over 10 telecoms operators across Africa, our solutions and services enable interoperability across several channels. We are the developers that handle a piece of the future. Our expertise and fit-for-purpose technology will give you your desired innovative solutions regardless of your business. Get in touch today and enjoy our array of services. Visit www.vastinets.com or just scan the barcode for more information. Vastinets, giving you a mobile community.
All right, thank you for that. So we'll move on, and at this time we'll be going into our breakout sessions. Okay, so we'll be having 4 breakout sessions, and each breakout session, the entire duration of the breakout session will be 40 minutes. So we expect that the session that you indicated at the point of registration, you click on that room, and then you just go into that room, and all of this will take will happen within the time frame of 40 minutes, after which we will all come back to the main room and debrief what we have learned from the breakout session. So I would ask that you please make the most of our experts, okay, and take notes while the session is going on, and ask whatever questions that you would like to ask, or any clarification that you have in mind. So make the most of this opportunity. Okay, but before we go into that session, I'd like to quickly introduce our esteemed experts who will be sharing with us today. So I'll just quickly go through a brief profile of one of them. So we have for business finance, the experts for business finance today, Sagbe Ngabadejo. Sagbe Ngabadejo is the managing partner, CEO of GBC Professional Services and Gbenga Badejo and Co, chartered accountants and tax practitioners, specializing in assurance, audit, taxation, forensic audit, financial and management consultancy, mergers and acquisition, business incubation, corporate reorganization and restructuring, corporate governance, and insolvency with clients across industries. He's a fellow of the Institute Chartered Accountants of Nigeria, fellow of the Chartered Institute of Taxation, and fellow of the Nigerian Institute of Management. He's an accomplished professional, scholar, and motivational speaker, and an alumni of Harvard Kennedy School. He sits in various boards as a non-executive director, and he has over 37 years cognitive experience, adding immeasurable value at every opportunity given. So Sir Gbenga Badejo will be our expert for business finance today. We also have Adeola Olumeyon. Adeola Olumeyon is a strategic legal advisor and non-executive director with experience in policy development, board advisory, corporate governance, compliance, legal risk management, and intellectual. She's a lawyer and she holds an MBA from Lagos Business School and has attended leadership courses at Harvard Business School, USA, and Nanyang Business School, Singapore, and Texan, UK. Adeola is the director and the chairman of the Board's Risk and Governance Committee for Kaizen Academy Limited, where she assists the board in fulfilling its corporate governance oversight responsibilities and putting in place business continuity planning and disaster recovery planning. So Adeola is our expert in the corporate governance room. We have Onyinye Okafor. Onyinye Okafor is a partner in banking, finance, and corporate advisory department of Udo Udoma and Dele Usagi. Her specializations include corporate and project finance, receivables financing, debt restructuring, asset financing, structured financing, trade finance, fintech insolvency, and corporate advisory. She has over 15 years experience and regularly advises international banks, such as Bank of America, Merrill Lynch, Credit Suisse, JP Morgan, Standard Chartered Bank, etc., on derivatives and structured finance transactions. Onyinye facilitates training sessions, including the LMA documentation training, in-house training sessions for clients on credit and security, and project finance sessions for new lawyers within the firm. Onyinye has been recognized for her work in the banking and finance space by Chambers Global, IFLR 1000, and Legal 500. Onyinye Okafor is our expert in the legal room, and she'll be letting us know the red flags to watch out for before signing a contract. That's very, very important. And our last expert is Adedayo Ojo. Adedayo Ojo is the Chief Executive Officer of Caritas Communications. Dayo has extensive experience in strategic corporate communication, issues, crisis, and relationship management, having worked around the world in media and corporate relations management for over 40 years. Prior to joining Caritas Communications, Dayo worked previously as a journalist and journalism teacher. He has also spent 15 years with ExxonMobil's Nigerian affiliate, Mobil Producing Nigeria. Since Caritas began operation in 2009, he has managed clients and projects across international and global brands, brand projects, multinationals, and leading Nigeria conglomerates. Adedayo Ojo is our expert who will be anchoring the branding session. So we welcome you all, our esteemed experts. Before we go into the breakout room, I'd just like us to spare a minute each for the experts to just give us a sneak peek of what we will be getting from the various rooms. Just a minute. So I'll start with Sir Gbenga Badejo. Sir Gbenga Badejo, what should we be expecting from your breakout room? Just a minute. Yes. We can't hear you. You're muted. You're
Okay,
muted. Okay.
Good evening, everyone. I hope you can hear me now.
Yes, we can hear you. Good morning.
Yes, good morning. Thank you for having me. At the end of the breakout session, we will have dealt with various sources of funding for small and medium-sized businesses. We will take cognizance of the fact that no two businesses are the same, and the funding requirements in the life cycle of a business differs. And if you don't plan to understand the requirements of your business at each facet of its life cycle, then you may run into trouble financing your business. Too little capital is dangerous and is inimical to the growth of a business, and too much capital is also consequences. So there has to be, we have to be able to identify the various sources of funding and then be able to inform the participants as to the best form of financing for their business endeavor. That is
All right. Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you for that. Adeola, can we just can you let us into what you'll be sharing with us, or what the participants will be gaining from your session? 2 minutes.
Okay, so good to have everyone, and thank you for having me. And during the session today, we'll be talking about why corporate governance is important and how it doesn't cost us much and can help sustainability of the business. We'll look at case studies to see those that are doing it right, how they can do it. We'll consider family-owned business. We'll consider small businesses that have boards. We'll also talk about what strategies you can do if you don't have a board and if you have a board, and how to go about it. Those are some of the things that we'll talk about. We'll talk about the impact, how it affects the business and how it strengthens your access to finance and how it strengthens sustainability for the business going forward. And there are quite a number of case studies that I'll be sharing. And some of those that have done it successfully, you would see and learn during the session how to even make millions, how businesses that have started in Nigeria scaled from small founding members to becoming businesses that attracted institutional investors. How did they do this?
Fantastic.
Those are some of the things you'll be learning.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. Oye Okafo.
Good morning, everyone. I'm happy to be here with you all. And so I'm going to be talking on red flags to look at for in contract. And in engaging the participants in this, we're going to have to learn what are the basic elements of a contract, what we should be, we're entering contracts, and we should note that all parties have freedom of contracts and the law is going to ensure that that is enforced. And related to this is the sanctity of contracts. So the court is not going to look at extraneous factors in interpreting contract. It is what you have entered into that the courts are going to look into. And so in entering contract, they have to be mindful of those principles, and those are what will guide us into spotting those red flags. So I'm going to be talking about such red flags and how to be observant and cautious when entering into contracts. Thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. Thank you. And Adedayo Ojo, what should we be looking out for in the branding session?
Thank you, Madam Moderator, and good morning to everyone. My goal will be to stimulate the thoughts of participants in that chat room about branding and rebranding. I plan to tell a short story of an effective rebranding that many of us know but may not have paid attention to. We'll talk a little bit about what is branding. Why should small businesses brand? Steps that you can take to brand your business. Thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. Wow. This is going to be a very, very interesting time. And I'm sure some of us are already thinking, I wish I could attend. I could be in all four rooms, you know. But so as we go into the breakout rooms, like I said earlier, the breakout session you opted for at the point of registration, once the rooms are open, so click on that room and go in there. And each room is 40 minutes for the entire session. Okay, and if you think that you have gleaned enough, you have learned enough in the room where you are in, you think that there's something that you want to catch in another room, please feel free to go in there and take it out. Okay, and at the end of the 40 minutes, we'll all return to the main room where we will debrief what we have learned. So, HQ, you're ready. I believe we are ready to go into our various rooms. HQ, we're waiting.
Okay, Ma. So I don't know if something has popped up your screen.
So the breakout rooms are on the screen. So just scroll down and join. Some people are already joined. Yes. So the experts are already there waiting for you. Kindly scroll down and then click on it.
You want to take this slide off this. So have we all joined? Yes. Nothing has popped up on my own screen. We can't see. We can't see the room icon. We're all, it appears we're all still in one room, the main room. So nothing has come up. HQ, please take note that nothing, the participants has not seen the pop-up.
your business, the financial, so that nothing will take you by surprise. Now, let me go to the first source of funding for your business, personal investment. One of the best ways to fund the establishment of business is by personal investment. Whenever it's possible, it's better to start a business by investing your own money. So if you plan to start a business, you must also plan to have your own money injected in the business. If you are going to go out to solicit for help, one of the critical things the financier will look at is, oh, how much is this business worth? How much have you invested in this business? How much of your personal money have you invested in it? That shows how serious
such that that individual will be set apart, will be distinguished from competition, from other customers, and will become easily recognizable and will be easily remembered. So everything that you do that sets you apart as distinct, either as an individual or a business, anything you do that will make your customers remember you, and that will make them love you, that will make them want to come back to patronize you, we can call all of that part. Now, what are the reasons why a small or a medium-sized enterprise would want to brand? There are several reasons, and we'll look at some of them. Number one reason why a small to medium-sized organization might think about branding is, number one, differentiation. You want to differentiate your company from the others, because in most cases, what you are doing, you are not alone. There are other people doing what you are doing. So a well-developed brand, a differentiated brand or product or service will help to communicate a unique value and create a distinct image in the minds of customers and clients. So one reason why you may want to brand is to differentiate your company, your brand, your product, or your service from all the others. Number two reason why you may want to brand will be to assure recognition, so that when people see your brand, when they see your product, when they experience the service you offer, they would easily recognize it as the one they trust, and they are more likely to use over and over again over the ones that they do not know and they do not trust. So the need for recognition is another reason why you may want to brand. Number three, trust. By consistently delivering high quality
thing has happened, that kind of, even after that kind of sad scenario has happened, again, the internet never forgets. When other people are looking for your company, you know, what do they say about you? So those are some of the reasons why corporate governance is extremely important. How are people rewarded for the work that they do when they work with you? So the whole of corporate governance, really, the focus of corporate governance is on stakeholder management. It's your employees, it's your regulators, because I'm sure we are all in different industries. It's also your vendors. You know, do you pay on time when you say that you will pay, or do you owe them for so long? It's your investors, it's all of those people. I put here strategy, culture eats strategy for breakfast. Some of us have probably heard of that saying before. And what do I mean when I say culture eats strategy for breakfast? It's very simple. If you have a fantastic plan, a fantastic 10-year plan, a nothing can go wrong plan that is supposed to work, it will work if everything falls in line. Yes, there's the place of AI, but as at now, there's also the place of people. It's the people that will gather the data that your AI would use. So how do you treat those people? Those are some of the things that you must start to consider from the moment you start your company. From the day you open your doors, from that moment, you must start to think about not just your customers and your clients. And I attended a session once, and the owner of Lapo Microfinance Bank came and he spoke to us, and he said something I never forgot. You know what he said? He said, everyone says that customer is king. He says, I beg to differ.
How would the markets look at that in other, how are other people providing the service, providing the product, how are they doing it generally in the market? And the court could impose that on you, which may be onerous. So we need to know that there are many terms that can be implied into contract, terms like that can be implied by law, by the court, looking at the practice, and by custom or trade, which is also market practice. So to avoid this use of implied terms, which may not even represent your intention, you have to ensure that in entering into contract, that you have specified everything that you think that you're going to be providing, so that the other person cannot come and say, but you have agreed this and you have not really agreed it. So that's about detail. Now let's talk about vague or ambiguous language. You're entering into contracts, you're sure of yourself, you're sure of your business, you know what you're about. When you want to provide service, when you want to provide or sell a product, you already know what you want to do. State what you want to do, make it simple, precise, and very specific. Don't let it be open to different interpretation. You will read a contract, and you know, there are some times when you're reading a contract, and when you're reading the contract, you will read it and somebody else will come and review the same contract and have a totally
survive when they are in the burden of loans taken from sources that are toxic. Let me say toxic, you know. Toxic loans can put your business interest in jeopardy. It is also possible to lease. There's also leasing option. You can lease equipment, you can acquire equipment outrightly. But if you have needs for your cash, you can acquire your equipment on a lease basis and pay over time. That saves you the cash flow that you will have used to purchase that machinery, that equipment, that air conditioner, that furniture. That will save you the lump sum that will have put into setting up or putting fixtures and fittings in place. That allows you to use that money for essential business needs. And once you lease, it frees your cash flow and you're able to pay over time for the equipment that you have leased. And leasing is good, provided you have enough cash flow, and it's helpful because it helps you to have additional cash to use to deploy to other sources. Now, another source of funding is suppliers finance, and I will explain this. This is very interesting. If it is possible for you to obtain goods on credit, if, for instance, you are in a trading business or you are in a manufacturing, if you tell your suppliers, because it takes time for me to convert what I'm taking from you to a sellable item, it will take me, say, 30 days, it will take me 45 days before I turn it into cash. Why must you pay upfront and then put your money in a supplier's?
Very senior citizens, your brand ambassador or the representations and the icons for your brand in that generation as well. That's why, for example, you see that it's generally young people that telcos use to represent their brand, while pension fund custodians, for instance, will use people with gray hairs, senior citizens, to recognize their brand. It is part of trying to connect the brand to the target audience. And then in developing your brand, consistency is key. You must be consistent in order to build brand recognition. Whatever you are doing, the quality of service must be consistent. All the attributes and how you portray and how you communicate, it must be consistent. You can't take a logo today and then next 6 months or another year you change it, another year you change it. If you do that, what will happen is that in a period of 5 years, for instance, you will have succeeded in creating confusion in the market of the target, the mind of the target audience. So you must be consistent. And if you have to change, there's nothing wrong with changing your logo, for instance, or your brand personality per se. But however, some quality thinking must go beyond it that would ensure you are changing to will still connect with your target audience and your customer. So consistency is key in what you do. If you are known to deliver services timely, you must be consistent with it. And you must continue to seek improvement on a consistent basis. And then in today's world, the reality of today's world is that social media, digital media is part of our lives. We just listened to Tenny when she was talking about AI and how technology has changed our world, how technology has changed our business. So every business today must embrace social media. Social media platforms, even those that are simple as Facebook or Instagram or LinkedIn or whatever, any of those that fit the lifestyle of your audiences will be a good platform to employ. But in today's reality suggests that there's absolutely no way that a business can brand successfully without using social media. Probably 20 years ago, a business could do that, but today, no. And then, in addition, my number one will be that your customer service must be excellent, because building a brand is beyond what you say or what you project. It is also what people see. So if you do all of the things we've talked about and customer service is poor, if you don't respond to complaints, if you don't resolve issues in a timely and satisfactory manner, no matter what you say, no matter how much advertising you put out, no matter the good quality of the product, the brand will not be respected because trust will have been broken through poor customer service. So customer service, paying attention and assuring that customer service is excellent is part of the steps you need to take in building a brand. And then you must be authentic. You know, the entire process of brand building must be authentic. It must be real. You know, some authenticity must be clear in your brand messaging and communication. Don't try to be what you are not. You know, if you are not if you're in a business if you're in a business of agriculture, for instance, you know, you cannot pretend to be a business that on the internet that do not have contact with people. You know, so you must be authentic. You must be real to what you are doing, because it is only in being authentic that you can be credible. And finally, you must periodically measure your success, you know. And while you do all of the things like creating a logo, creating a brand story, offer excellent service, excellent, and you're authentic, it is important to measure specific metrics such as brand loyalty. You know, how many repeat customers are you having? How many people are engaging with you over on Facebook? Has it increased over the last 6 months or over the last 1 year? How many repeat customers are you having? You need to measure all of that, because it is only measuring that you become sensitive to new things that you need to do, or things that you are doing that you have to reinforce. You know, continuous measurement would help you to tweak the entire process of branding. So those are the steps in branding. Before I wrap up, let me also tell you a short story about 2 medium-sized companies that we probably will be able to relate to, who have branded successfully, in my view. Some of us may be familiar with a brand called WeCyclers. WeCyclers is a trash management company in Lagos, and they employ technology to collect recyclables from residences and businesses, and even along the streets. Their brand strategy emphasizes their commitment to environmental sustainability and community. And what did they do? What they've done is to use very vivid purple and green as colors for their brand. And they have also adopted a very catchy tagline. So anywhere you see WeCyclers, you see recycling for good. WeCyclers, recycling for good. Their brand strategy of a catchy tagline, as well as very vivid pictures, and you see the use of even the way they have picked the colors. Green, you know, sustainability. Our environment will only be sustainable when it is clean, when we take care of it. So what they have adopted has helped them to earn a reputation as a dependable trash and management partner. And their business is growing in leaps. Another example that some of us may be familiar with, of a small to medium-sized organization that has successfully adopted branding technique, is House of Tara. The Nigerian brand House of Tara creates skincare and cosmetic products for women.
Fairness, transparency, integrity, board independence and effectiveness, shareholder rights, risk management and compliance. So when we talk about accountability, what exactly do we mean? So this would mean things like being transparent in your financial reporting. So the fact that you are submitting, what are you submitting to CAC? Is it really what you have on record, or is it merely what they call management accounting? It's getting AI now to hide those kind of things people used to get away with, you know, those accounting methods. It's getting more difficult now. So you want to be looking at that. Are you transparent in your financial reporting? And are you disclosing the relevant information And to those who should have it, are you taking responsibility for the decisions that you are making as management? And then when it comes to your staff, are you ensuring that you have good documentation and record keeping? You have to make sure that you are taking record of the vendors that you have. How did these vendors come? Are they vendors that you know personally as the owner and just gave business to whether or not they are giving you the best value? Are they people that you know are giving you best value because you have sampled other people and seen that they give you best value and best price? Those are some of the things that you need to be looking out for. Are you rewarding your staff properly? And are you leading by example? So if you're asking your staff, for example, that organization will not take bribes and will not give bribes, do you at the background offer to give a bribe? Those are some of the things that you need to look about when and that we talk about when we're talking about accountability. When we talk about fairness, some of the things that we'll talk about with fairness will be your dealings generally with all your stakeholders. The stakeholders that you have, if you have shareholders, if it's not just you that runs the organization, are you giving them reports as and when due? Are you giving them accurate and true reports of what's going on? When you are filing your annual returns, do you take time to look at what has been put there? Does it represent you? Does it represent what you want to say to the public about yourself? Don't forget, CAC now puts everything online. So with the click of a button, anyone, anywhere in the world can find information about you and about your company. If you belong to many other boards, anyone can find you very easily. There's a website now, I think it's called B2B Link or something like that, where you can find out how many boards somebody belongs to, a company, and all of that information. It's scarily accurate, scarily accurate. So what kind of information is going out and how transparent about you, because you can easily be found out if you're not telling the truth. And is it easy to find information about you? Is the information we get equitable? Do I have the same information as your majority shareholders? Those are some of the things that you want to think about. Do you have transparent policies? And do you have equal opportunities for your staff? You know, diversity and inclusion has become a huge deal around the world, not just in Nigeria, a huge deal around the world. What's your female to male ratio in management, in staffing? What's the ratio that you have for other people? For example, do you have disabled people? Sometimes those things help in even securing funding from other people. So transparency, we talk about having clear information. When you talk about transparency, do you have whistleblower policies, for example, in place? Those are some of the things that help with transparency. So if something is going wrong in your organization, who can we talk to, and how safe do I feel in giving out that information about something that is going wrong within the organization? It's similar to all of the things that we. Thing I'd like to highlight with integrity is conflict of interest. As the owner of the business, what signal do you give out there?
5,000 naira. Maybe that product is at that point is like 10,000 naira, for instance. If you insert an automatic renewal clause, what happens without exempting the cost? What happens to you is that at the end of that renewal, it automatically renews and the person is going to continue paying you 5,000 and you're already incurring loss. You cannot at that time decide to terminate your contract because you have not really read the terms of the contract in order to understand what you're getting yourself into. And so be careful about these automatic renewal provisions, especially if you're the one selling. So that when you are incorporating automatic renewal provisions, what you should always exempt you should always exempt the price or cost of the thing and said, if it renews automatically, we can renegotiate the cost of the product. Termination. Again, termination specify when any of the parties can terminate the contract. This has to be closely reviewed because this has to be closely reviewed in order that you will not be trapped in a contract. So it may come to a point when you want to leave. You can't leave because of termination, because termination has, it is supposed to be a provision that terminates, but then it can hold you back into the contract. So termination can be at demand. You don't want a termination, you don't want your counterparty to want to terminate a contract at will, but you can provide termination for breach. And if both of you want to have the option of terminating at will, then you have to provide for a timeline in order to prepare yourself for such termination. Execution. Again, in relation to execution clause, it is particularly important because this is where parties sign the contract. And so if, for instance, in relation to a company, a company says, a company comes to you and says, we will be providing you with my product, you need to ensure that the person you're speaking with is the appropriate person that needs to enter that contract, that you need to sign that contract with. Because you could enter into a contract with someone and at the end of the day, the person will not deliver. When you go to the company will tell you, but you didn't sign any contract with us. And you say, but I signed a contract with Mr. Adeyemi or Mrs. Okaf or whoever it is. And the person will say, but this person has no right to bind the company. So when you're entering into that sort of contract with someone, you need to be careful. You need to ask the person, what are the authorizing resolutions? In fact, you can, if it requires you to go and conduct a search as the CAC, please do. And ensure that it is the right person that is binding the company and that the signature of the person is the correct signature. Limitation of liability clauses. Limitation of liability clauses tend to limit both parties' exposure to financial damage. So it could be that one person is saying, even if I'm in breach of this contract, I cannot pay above a certain amount of money. So that is limitation of liability. Now, in limitation of liability, you don't want to include a limitation of liability provision that is very broad or that is very restrictive. And you need to ensure a breach of contract that you're in a position where if the person breaches the contract, you're in a position where you can at least gain your capital, even if it's not your profit. And so in looking at limitation of liability clause, be mindful of whether it is very restrictive. If you're the one that is supposed to receive the damages, or if it is broad, if you're the one that is supposed to be paying. I'm trying to rush through because of time. And then governing law provision, we need to be, this is not really important in a local transaction. So in a local transaction, it would normally be Nigerian law or could be Nigerian court or arbitration or whatever. But sometimes when two parties are even Nigeria, one of the parties could say that that because my parent company is a company in UK or a company in America or whatever, I want UK law to bind. Be mindful that if you want a different governing law, you need to get a lawyer from that jurisdiction in order to look at your contract and review it to ensure that there are no onerous provisions. Again, dispute resolution clause, what it is, you want to be open to settlement out of court. But to mediation, to negotiation, if there is thing, you want to come together with the other party in order to look at what the issue is and try to resolve it. But if it is a matter that you know urgency is required, please, you can decide to go to court. Sometimes you can decide to go to court or use arbitration. I've talked about confidentiality and non-compete clauses, but non-compete clauses, you don't want a non-compete clause that is very broad. Non-compete clause is the sort of clause that where you see it mainly sometimes in an employment contract or in a trade contract, where a person says, if you leave, if I'm doing trade with you and I decide that I do not want to continue with you, I will not go along the line of trade. it causes trade restraints. We need to be careful that when we're entering into contract, we do not tie or bind ourselves in a position where we're unable to continue in that line of trade. On the other hand, you don't want somebody that also, that when you engage someone in your business, you don't also want someone that would leave your business and go exactly into the same business. It has happened before. It has happened before. And the MD of a big multinational company left and went to its competitor. What do you think it's going to do? It is going to cause problem for you. So you need to look out for non-compete clauses. In conclusion, you have to review your contract thoroughly and make provisions that are not clear. Ensure the term of the contract is clear and precise, and you understand the obligations you're taking on. Do not rely on your counterparty to advise or recommend your approach or decision, and always consult a lawyer. So I will pause here for questions if there's still time, or if there's questions for me to respond to. Thank you for listening.
Thank you very much, Ma, for that. We would like to know if anyone has any question. Please kindly raise your hand with the raise your hand button in the reactions for any questions, so that she can take your questions, as we would like to finish up on this and go back to the main room. But with that being said, I sincerely enjoyed this, and okay, I think we're all going back into the breakout room now, so I think we can ask our questions there. Thank you.
Yeah, welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. So welcome back, everyone. Are we all back in here?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, we're back.
Yeah, so welcome back, everyone. I want to believe that we had a very good time in the rooms. I had the privilege of being in almost all the rooms. I was in 3 rooms, and a lot of knowledge has been shared. So I want to believe that we're ready to share what we have learned. But before we do that, we'll quickly take the sponsor video again. Sponsor video, please. There's no audio.
Welcome to Vastinet's Technologies, your preferred mobile and digital technology solution provider out of Africa, with an ecosystem that improves all businesses globally. Our mission is to deliver an integrated, value-driven proposition that combines digital services, content, and digital payments seamlessly to customers. Connected to over 10 telecoms operators across Africa, our solutions and services enable interoperability across several channels. We are the developers that handle a piece of the future. Our expertise and fit-for-purpose technology will give you your desired innovative solutions regardless of your business. Get in touch today and enjoy our array of services. Visit www.vastinets.com or just scan the barcode for more information. Vastinets, giving you a mobile community.
All right, thank you so much. So welcome back everyone from the breakout session, the very interactive and insightful sessions as I was also in some of them. So we'll just move on now, and we have just about 6 minutes to end the entire program. Okay, but before we end, would like to share our learnings, our takeaways from the various breakout sessions. So in 1 minute each, I'd like someone to volunteer from each of the breakout session and just share some takeaways, some nuggets, what you took out of that session. So can we quickly do that? From the finance room, who would like to share quickly? Just raise your hand and then you can unmute and share. Is it to share? Finance, legal, corporate governance, branding. Just raise your hand if you're ready to share. No one wants to share. Okay, fantastic. So we have Kunle Adebajo. Please unmute and share and speak.
Okay, good morning, everyone.
Thank you.
Once again, I just want, since nobody else was raising their hand, we had a very good session on branding, and it was very clear how important it is that we have that we consider the target audience, that we think very much about the brand positioning and have a story of our brand, have a logo that is simple but memorable. And above all, we needed to be consistent with our brand and deploy the appropriate communication. We also mentioned somewhere there that these days you cannot ignore social media, very, and also have excellent customer service, because irrespective of how you position your brand, if that is failing, then you will have problems. And then I think finally, our facilitator told us how important it is to measure our success periodically. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Yes, Egbe Oshikena.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
I attended the corporate governance session, and for me, it was very insightful. The facilitator was able to open my eyes. Typically corporate governance is not clear cut like regular rules and regulations. So there's a need to wonder what really is the impact of corporate governance. What does it really do? What are the advantages of having a strong corporate governance structure? So I was able to bring that to the fore and open my eyes to a lot of impact it has on organizations where you have a good corporate governance structure in place. And then she was also able to, I also took away the fact that there are other ways you might not have considered by which companies can strengthen their corporate governance structures. So she gave us some life instances of how different companies, family businesses, and all that had gone about strengthening structure. For me, that was very insightful, because there were no ordinary things that probably would have averted my mind too.
Great. Thank you so much, Egbe. Thank you. So we're still waiting for finance and legal. Oh, okay, Jack. Jack. Okay, go ahead. Unmute and speak, please. Go ahead and speak, please. Jack, we're listening.
Hello. Yeah, good morning, all.
Yes. Good morning.
Yeah, I learned a lot. I was in the business finance session. And basically what I took home was that we have lot of windows of opportunity have our personal savings, and then before we can proceed to consider others coming to help us in terms of funding. The second option we have available is that we can consider our family and friends. And then we have angel investors all over the place. We also have access to venture capitalists. You know, one striking thing I learned is that there is this option of suppliers finance, where you can have access to, you know, taking goods from your suppliers even on credit and so on. But then there is a question that we could not answer because of time constraints. And that is to say, I really need to know all the grants that are available in Nigeria at the moment. So I need anyone to help us answer that question. What are the grants that are available for SMEs in Nigeria? Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so while we wait for an answer to that question, let's take the last group, legal. Who is debriefing for legal? Anyone? Legal. We had about 15 people, between 15 and 16 people in that room. Okay, anyway, I was there briefly, and I took away some very key points. The fact that the contract is very important in anything that we do, business, that is very important, and the valid contract has an offer and an accept. So it must be clear in the contract what you are selling, and clear who is buying, and under what condition or situation must the person buy. And also, she emphasized the need for us to look out for, okay, I have bad job. Do you want to speak? Are you debriefing? Okay, go ahead.
Good afternoon, everyone. I was part of the legal team, and I was grateful to have joined into that class. Mrs. Onyeye really went in depthly about being cautious, as you were saying earlier on. It's very key that whatever it is that you would want to stay in your contract, it has to be clear and sound. So you do not have to come back to saying, oh, this was what I meant, this is why. So it has to be clear and well documented. And also there were also limitations that she shared with us to some of these contracts, and then also some clauses also to it. From my final takeaway from it is that whenever you want to go into contract with anyone, I think you need to first know a lot about person who you're, not a lot, but if it's an organization, you have to be sure that that organization is reputable. You know them, you have checked in with CSC, as she also mentioned, that they're a well-registered company and they've passed the due diligence session. You also have to be sure that you also have to be sure that everything is okay. But mainly is whatever it is that you're requesting or that you plan on getting into with them, it needs to be stated clearly. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. So that's we have the briefing from the forums, the takeaways. It was a lot of information. It was a lot of information, and I just want to use this opportunity once again to thank our experts, okay, and also to urge our businesses, our business owners, not just to hear, but also implement, okay? Let's try and implement everything that we've taken away, that we have learned today. So thank you very much to all of our experts. Thank you for always guiding us on how to run businesses. Because I mean, many a times we just go along with the flow without necessarily putting structures in place. And everything we've heard today is all part of putting a structure in place. Because a business that will grow, a business that will be enduring and will be sustainable, must have structure. And that's everything that we've talked about today. Taking care of your brand and being known for something, standing for something, and being recognizable for something. So you are not just floating, but you are actually known, and you are being consistent at what it is that you do. And then the finance bit is very important, that our books are in shape. Okay, and we're often told that there's nothing wrong with borrowing, but it's knowing when to borrow. And the experts did mention that the business cycle, that there are different stages into a business, in a business cycle, different stages of a business. So you've got to be sure what kind of funding that you need or is required or necessary per time, depending on the cycle that your business in or the stage that your business is in. And then, of course, the red flag, well, knowing what to look out for, that's a very thorny issue. You know, most times we're very quick to just sign and not look at, especially those very tiny prints. So we must, and don't ever think that it's too expensive to get the services of a lawyer to help you review your contracts, because not doing that, what you lose is way more than actually paying for that service. So make sure that you get lawyers to look at your contract and be sure that you're safe. Okay. And of course, corporate governance. Corporate governance is another one. For SMEs, again, most times we think that because we are still small, there's no need, okay, for corporate governance. But corporate governance is actually very, very important. And as your business is growing and you're thinking of scaling or bringing in investors, those are the things that you'll be looking at. Any investor will be looking at. Anybody that wants to invest in the business wants to invest in a business that has been well structured, a business that is secure, a business that you can say that, yes, at the end of the day, I'll get returns for my investments. Okay, so we're going to be rounding up now, ending this session, and I want to believe, I'm sure. Oh, before we go, please, a question that was asked. Somebody asked a question and said the question wasn't answered before the end of the breakout session. So if we can quickly take that question. I think the grants, the different kinds of grants that are available for SMEs in Nigeria. So Mr. Gbega, do you want to quickly take that before we round up?
Yes, thank you very much.
Sorry.
Yes, thank you very much. It depends on what business the person is embarking on and at what stage of the business. There are banks that will not even fund startups. They will require that your business is already running. There is proof of concept. They can see that your business is running, and then you have the potential to even repay the loans that you want to take. So I will say that the first point of contact in anybody looking for a loan should be your bank. Because most of these funding agencies will disburse the money to you through your bank. They will not leave your bank alone and be dealing directly with you. That way, your bank is able to stand in gap for the funding. Now, I would mention NISRA Microfinance Bank, the federal government used to give out loans during and after COVID. And this type of financing varied for all classes of business. NISRA Microfinance Bank even gave loans to take care of people that have shortfalls in their income, apart from business holders. So you can approach SMEDAN. SMEDAN has a whole lot of grants and loans that can be enabled through their programs, but you may first have to acquire some training for them to be sure that the money that will come to your business is utilized efficiently. Bank of Industry is another veritable source, but there are conditionalities for accessing this loan. You must keep your house in order because they must check that If as an idea you have, is it bankable? If you want to grow your business, have you conducted yourself in a manner that anybody looking at your financials can see through what you're doing? Those things are very important. So Nizras,
Okay, thank you.
POI.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you so much. All right then. So at this point, I'd like to invite Mr. Leyema Konjola, that's Chairman, Communications Committee, the Chamber, to please give us a vote of thanks.
Thank you, Mom. Let me just put on my camera. Okay, so on behalf of the chambers, I would like to thank the speaker, Saniola Stoffman, all the experts and residents, Benga Badejo, Mr. Adedayo Ojo, Ms. Adiola Olumeyon, and Onyeye Okafo. I'd also like to thank the moderator, Mrs. Rosalind Onolaja, our sponsors, Bastionet Technologies Limited, all participants, the MSME committee, and the NBCC headquarters for putting this event together. We have a few announcements. Upcoming events, the NBCC breakfast meeting is scheduled for Thursday, May 18th, 2023, and everyone is invited to participate. The 2023 trade mission to the UK is scheduled for May 22nd to 26th. Interested individuals and corporations are invited to participate as well, even though I feel like just cutting it very close, but you can always reach out. The plaza is also open for you to explore for your corporate events, training, seminars, and meetings at an affordable rate. We have a state-of-the-art plaza with wonderful meeting and conference facilities. So you can also reach out to the chambers to make inquiries and reservations. We would absolutely love your feedback on this experts in residence training. Please scan the barcode on the screen. Can you please share the barcode on the screen for people to scan? Please scan the barcode on the screen to fill out your feedback form. And when you fill out the feedback form, we would definitely take your feedback into consideration in planning future events. If you're interested in becoming a member of the Nigerian-British Chamber of Commerce, please send an email to ajiro@mbcc.org.ng. Ajiro, if you could drop your email in the chat, that would really help. Of course, to keep in touch with our activities, you can follow us on Instagram at NBCC_NG. You can also follow us on LinkedIn, Nigerian-British Chamber of Commerce. And finally, you can follow us on Facebook, Nigerian-British Chamber of Commerce as well. We want to sincerely thank you once again for spending some of your precious time with us, and we hope to see you again soon. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much. So it's on this note to say a big thank you to everyone. So it's been a nice time. It's been nice hanging out with everyone here, and I believe that we've learned. So let's go and implement and continue to serve. So